Now may the peace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which goes beyond our mortal understanding, continue to be with you. My name is Gideon Highlander. You're welcome to AYM Frequency. Now, one item which is of much importance to youth ministry undoubtedly is content. Yes, today we are going to talk about the importance of content and why it is necessary and important to buy it this month, next month, or at least next month. I mean, why it is important to buy it in this month of May, June, or July. In the Seventh-day Adventist Youth Ministry, camping has become one of the things that we cannot do without it. In fact, camping and outdoor experience is so much important that in the basic staff training, a program that is held, that is organized to train and sensitize leaders in the junior youth ministry, that is Adventure Club and Pathfinder Club, there is a whole section devoted for camping and outdoor experience. Camping cannot be possible without content, because the whole idea of camping is to spend some time out of door and continue the progressive lesson. And you cannot spend an out of door in the wilderness, in the cold, without a shelter. And camping tent is one of the means of providing a shelter for pathfinders in the outdoor. One of the important reasons why every master guide or a pathfinder must get a camp tent is that it reduces the cost of camping in the youth ministry. You see, in the youth ministry, one of the things that increases the cost of organizing camp out or camping experience or even trip is housing. In the traditional way of camping, as we all know, in most parts of Africa, especially if you are in West Africa and especially if you are in Ghana, we would have to go write letters to maybe a school authority to seek approval for the use of their school buildings, and then they charge us. But when pathfinders, when adventurers, when youth members have their own tent, the cost that will be allocated for housing, that is a place in the school buildings, in the church buildings, or in someone's property, will be reduced. And anyone who has been part of any camp planning or organizing committee can attest to this fact, that the moment a lot of the pathfinders have their tent, it reduces the camp cost by one. The number of rooms that you would have to seek permission for will now reduce, because if majority of the campers have their own tent, it means you now request a smaller number of rooms for the few who don't have tent. Now, if you are fortunate to have every member of the team, of the group going for the camp, having their camp tent, then it means you will not even use the classrooms at all, thereby reducing the cost of housing drastically. That is why camp tents are very essential. And it is something that I will entreat my fellow master guys to urge and encourage every pathfinder or an adventurer to get. In fact, if an individual pathfinder or an adventurer or an ambassador or a young adult will not be able to afford a camp tent, it is advisable that 2 or 3 will join hands to buy one that they can share, especially if they are related. If they are relatives, they can buy one tent and share. One other reason why camp tents are very important is that apart from it being used for the out-of-door camping experience, camp tents can also be used at home for family quality time. You see, there is always joy to spice up the family life. Yes, if you live in a nucleus family, you are with your mom and you are with your dad. It is not always ideal to be in the house 24/7, 7 days in a week. So you usually hear your mom saying, "Daddy, take us out. We need to go and spend some quality time outside." Trust me, if you are an Adventist, one way of spending quality time outside your home is to spend a camping night or a tent sleeping night in your compound. Yes, just imagine that evening where everybody in the family, you've taken your bath, and then you say, this evening we are not going to sleep in the room. We are going to pitch our tent on the lawns, and we are going to sleep in the tent. We will sit in front of the tent to share some Bible stories. We will also share some family history, some fun and memorable times in our lives as a family. And when we finish, we will enjoy the comfort of the tent. Now, the reason why this can help spice up family moment in your compound, not necessarily leaving your compound, but even at the frontage of your house. If you have a parking space, you can reverse and then put the car back, and even use that parking space for your car as that place where you pitch your tent. The reason why this will spice up the family experience is that when you sleep in a tent, it's so beautiful, it's so cozy, especially in the evening when the weather is cold and calm. All of a sudden, you have this beautiful, soothing breeze entering into the tent, and the experience is unmatched. You will never have that feel of natural quality air when you are sleeping in your room. And so it is a beautiful time to share with your family. So camp tents can be reused for home entertainment, for home revitalization. It can be repurposed to spice up joy and unity at home. Another important reason why every Seventh-day Adventist youth must get a camp tent is that it can also help with your evangelistic experience. You see, one other aspect of evangelism that makes people scared of going is housing. Where will we sleep? Where will we live? Where will we reside when we go out for evangelism, especially in the area that is not our comfort zone, if it is not our vicinity? But then if you have a tent, in fact, that is the main reason why we teach camping in the youth ministry. Camping in the youth ministry is not necessarily for us to go and sleep in the wild, but to empower us to be evangelists. Because the whole idea of the youth ministry is to share the Advent message to all the world in our generation. Literally being evangelist throughout the world. And if you are an evangelist, lodging is one issue. But we teach how to sleep in tent, how to strike and pitch tent, so that when it's time for us to go for evangelism, nobody will give an excuse on where to sleep. That is why we start from adventurous pathfinders, so that when you are a master guide, when you are an ambassador, when you are a young adult, you are old enough, and you are sent to an evangelistic campaign or mission, you will not have any excuse to give. Unfortunately, many people do not see this aspect of importance to the teaching and sleeping and the whole idea of camping and tent. It's not just for us to enjoy nature, but for us to become evangelists. So camping and sleeping in camp tents can help reduce the cost and stress of an evangelistic campaign. And not only an evangelistic campaign, any church program. If you go for church retreats, if you go for church conventions, if you go for church seminars and conferences, camp tents can help reduce the cost. Because all you need is a playing field. And these tents will be pitched and everybody will sleep in it to reduce the cost. Another important reason of having a camp tent as a pathfinder, as an adventurer, as an ambassador, as a young adult in the Seventh-day Adventist Youth Ministry is that it can be a perfect gift for a homeless person. You see, there are so many people living in our vicinities who are homeless, and their situations are worsened when it rains. Some will have to stand tall, erect in front of the kiosk or the store where they sleep for the rain to dry at the place that they sleep before they can lay down. They can lie down. So imagine you gifting a homeless person a streetism child come tent. You have helped to solve a chunk of his problem. Now he will not be treated to the harsh cold weather at night. At least he will have a place of comfort to sleep. And so camp tent can be a perfect gift as a young pathfinder, as an ambassador, as an adventurer to someone special in your vicinity who has lost his housing due to fire outbreak, who has lost his housing due to flood or any natural disaster, or who for one reason or the other has become a street person, a streetism person, or someone who lives on the street. Now, if all these are the case, and indeed they are, and because they are that important, then when do you think is the best time to buy these tents? Dear beloved, with my experience as a camp instructor and as a wilderness instructor all these years, it is so joyful to me to share with you that the best time to buy your tent is in the month of May, June, and July, especially if you live in the subtropics like West Africa. You see, the reason is that May, June, July is typically the rainy season. In short, all that I'm trying to say is that the best time to buy your camp tent is in the rainy season. And I'll give you some reasons to back that up. When you buy your tent in the rainy season, in fact, even before you buy the tent, you should ask yourself which type of tent or which kind of tent do I want to buy. There are one season tents and there are multi-season tents. One season tent are tents that are made to be usable in one particular season, either for the snow or the winter season, either for the dry or the summertime, or for the rainy season. And then we have the ones that are made for multi seasons. It can withstand the harsh weather dry season of West Africa or in most parts of Africa, and can also withstand the tormenting rainy season. So in West Africa or in most parts of Africa, most of the tents that are sold are labeled as multi-seasonal tents, which means they can be used in the dry season and they can be used in the rainy season. Now, the only way you can know that truly this tent is made for the rainy season is to buy it during the rainy season. Because after all, as for dry season, nothing will be there to sort of test, in quote, even though you can test how it stands against dust and all that. But the rainy season is the most critical. So I am advising you, if you want to buy a tent, and especially if you are in the West Central African Division of Ghana, this is the best time to buy your tent because we are in the rainy season. The first reason why you need to buy your tent at this time, May, June, July, in this rainy season, is that you can now test to see how it stands against the rain and the storm. You see, there are a lot of tent vendors who will lure you into thinking that their tent is a multi-seasonal tent. And they usually sell those tents in the dry season because they think you have no means of testing it out. But when you buy your tent in the rainy season, it is the chance for you to pitch it in the rain to see how it stands against the harsh rain of West Africa. One will say, okay, but Master Guide, Highlander, if I buy it in the dry season, you have already done a lesson to teach how to test your tent in the dry season. I can use that principle. For those who want to watch that video, the link will appear up here. But for those who will not get the chance to watch that video, one key component of testing your tent in the dry season is just pitching your tent, connecting your pipe with a water hose, and spraying water on the tent to see whether there will be leakages in the tent. But you see, dear beloved, the reason why, even though I have taught that principle, it will still be best to test your tent in the raining season is that spraying water on a tent just to see whether it will wet is not the same as allowing rain to fall on the tent. There is natural one and the other one is the artificial. Now, when you pitch your tent in the rain, you are not only subjecting the tent to the rainfall, you are also subjecting it to the harsh wind and the storm, which cannot be simulated with a water hose. When you pitch your tent in the rain, you are not only testing to see whether it will wet, but you are subjecting it to top testing and down testing, because the ground where the tent will be pitched will be extremely wet. So it will be a perfect natural simulation for you, which will not cost you pipe water. Of course, you pay for the pipe water. So you even be careful how much of the pipe you open for the water to be spilled for the dry season test. But this one, the rain is for free. And you leave it outdoor for it to beat it to see the hose at the joint and the ground plane, the cover, the ground layer or the floor layer that has been used in the tent. That one will also be subjected to the tent. You can even be in it to see how the leakage, how the seams are sewn. So testing your tent in the rainy season is the best simulation you can ever get. That is why I am encouraging you to buy your tent now in this rainy season, so that you can subject it to all the harsh weather conditions of the wet season. Again, the other important reason why you're supposed to buy your tent in this rainy season is that usually because of the weather and the nature of the storm in the subtropics, especially West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, in the rainy season, most churches do not organize camping and outdoors. And because most churches do not organize camping and outdoors, and not only churches, hiking companies, tourist companies, it is only a few who do that, because the rain nature of Africa, of West Africa, can be really rough. Because of that, companies that sell tents and outdoor materials do not increase their prices. You see, when you buy your tent in October, November, December, you are only in for trouble. That is the perfect time for destination lovers. That is the perfect time for travelers, for tourism lovers, to organize and plan their tourist vacations. And because of that, companies increase the price of camping tents and camping materials extremely. A tent that will be sold for in October, November, December at say 2,000 Ghana cedis will be sold for half in the rainy season, in May, June, July. Because everybody will be at home. So who will want to buy a tent? You see the idea. Because of that, the price is at its normal rate. So if you want to get a cheap bargain for your camp tent, I suggest and recommend that you buy it within this month. Worst case scenario, August, September. Don't go beyond August or September, so that you can get a very good bargain for the kind of tent you have. And that when you buy it too, you test it. And now the final reason why you are supposed to buy your tent and other camping gears like your raincoats in this month, June, July, May, is that you can also use this time of the month where the sun does not shine or beat us that much to test the drying duration of your tent and other materials that can get wet. You see, there are a lot of things that we take out for camping. Jeans, socks, woolen socks, cotton socks, and other things, raincoats, and other gears that we want to take to camping. Inflatable pillows, other types of stuff. This will be the perfect time to test them how much they take to dry. Because there's a likelihood that you go for a camping after July, the time and season that we know is a rainy season. In fact, it is even possible you can go for a camping in the dry season and it will rain. You might be thinking, oh, it's a dry season, let me just take these things, they will not get wet. And they will rain, and it will rain, and you'll be shocked because you do not know the duration it takes for the items to dry. You'll be shocked. You will spend the whole evening standing because most of the things that you brought will be wet, and it will take a very long time to dry, even in the dry season. So this is the perfect time to test the drying strength and the water holding and water resistant capabilities of the things that you have bought, like your rain resistant boots, your hiking boots, which has been labeled as water resistant or rain resistant. These are the reasons why you need to test them. If you are in West Central African Division of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, December you'll be coming for Pathfinder Kampuri in Ghana at the Valley View University campus. That means you come with a tent, especially if you are in Ghana. If that is the case, then I encourage you to start making plans to buy your tent now, so that your tent will be tested in the rain to test its ability to withstand rain and dew and fog and drizzles, so that in the dry season you will not have a problem. This is all that I have for you for today. The importance of tents to Pathfinders, and why and what time to buy your camp tent. If you like this video, kindly share with the Pathfinders, recommend us, click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified of every video we post, because now we're posting videos every day. And please type in the comment section and tell us what you also think about this video. Share your experience with us about tents in the rainy season, tents in the dry season, and how you even test your tent to see whether they are resistant to dew, to drizzles, to rain, to storms. May the Lord be with you. May His protection continue to be with you. And keep in mind, like I always say, the essence of the youth ministry, apart from we equipping ourselves for service, is to share the Advent message to all the world in our generation. God be with you. We will meet one more time again. Bye-bye.